And greetings. Welcome back here to the channel for the penultimate week of Confidence Picks. I'm Steve Deace alongside Aaron McIntyre as we are grinding and winding it down, Aaron, to the culmination known as Rivalry Week. Let's get an update on where this year's contest stands heading into that penultimate week.
You nearly had a perfect week. I did have a perfect week, but I only gained 2 points on you.
That's tough. Perfect week, you only gained 2 points. Yes.
Yeah, you missed on Maryland over Rutgers. Actually, no, I had Maryland over Rutgers as well, and by 1 point, so I only gained 1 point on you. What the heck? I didn't have a perfect week.
So even when you try to cheat me, I'm still winning, is what you're saying?
So 663 to 641. I'll make that.
But with the amount of variance in these final 2 weeks, you could that's catchable for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. So we both hit on our bonus picks. Good call on Washington minus 3.5 over UCLA. Do you recall the rationale that I gave for choosing Nebraska plus 8.5 versus USC? That's more.
I don't.
That's more than one possession. That's more than one possession. And what was the final margin? 8 points. USC.
Yep.
I got it by the hook.
Yep.
All right, going on into week 13.
All right, so I am going to lay the wood with Ohio State over Indiana, but I made these picks before I knew about the Seth McLaughlin injury. So I don't know. I'm telling you, I do think that what's happening with the Ohio State offensive line, at the very least, I think, does diminish the chances they're going to win the national championship. But made the pick beforehand. The dude code says I stick with it. I'll put 7 points on Michigan over Northwestern. Final home game of the year. It'll be senior day, which also means it's junior day for Colston Loveland, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant. Those guys, I think they'll put on a big performance and get to bowl eligibility because they're excited about a game that none of them are playing in. And then I'm going to put. I didn't have a clue. Cade McNamara was hurt again. Because I had read yesterday he was cleared 100%.
Well, he is cleared, but he's not doing well in practice, from what I've heard.
So it's a performance issue.
Yeah.
That's even worse. That's even worse. So I got 6 on Iowa. Yeah, I think you're going to make up some ground this week, brother. I think you're going to make up some ground this week. I'll put 5 on Penn State over Minnesota, but I do think the Gophers match up fairly well with Penn State. I think Penn State's a better version of what Minnesota is. I'll put 4 on Michigan State over Purdue, and I'm regretting that decision. I should have put more on them, looking at what I've already learned about Iowa and Ohio State. I'll go with 3 for Rutgers against Illinois, kind of the zigzag theory. Illinois was great at home last week, goes on the road this week. They got that 7th win. Rutgers trying to get that. That's a big deal for that program, and I think they get it this week against the Illini. I'm going to go 2 points on Nebraska over Wisconsin. I'm doing a double hedge here, okay? So I'm going to only put 2 on Nebraska over Wisconsin, and then I'm going to put 1 on USC over UCLA, although I love UCLA plus the points here. And I think they're much more invested in the season down the stretch, and they're playing at home, although when these two teams play in LA every year, there's not much of a home field advantage for one over the other. My bonus pick is I'm going to go Nebraska minus 2.5. Now, I'm going to hedge by only putting 2 points on Nebraska over Wisconsin in my confidence picks. But I am betting against Legion. I am now that I am convinced this is metaphysical, it's just at some point it has to turn around. 9 in a row. 9. Okay? 9 times in a row Nebraska has lost when it had a chance to clinch a bowl bid. I don't believe it'll be 10. I also think Wisconsin is reeling as well. So I'm going to take Nebraska at home and lay the 2.5. And I think they actually win they win comfortably at home against Wisconsin to get to their first bowl game since Barack Obama was still president.
That's crazy. Oh, by the way, props to you for your forecast on the Oregon-Wisconsin game last week. That kind of went down the way that you said it.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Thank you.
Gone down.
Yeah.
For me, I put all my picks in before I saw yours, and I think we all have the same picks. Son of a gun. Different order.
Well, different point totals.
Yeah. But I've got Penn State over Minnesota with my top pick at 8. Michigan State over Purdue. Purdue, like I said, back in the Wisconsin game. That was one of the last games that Wisconsin looked functional, and we thought, hey, they're kind of quietly putting together a good season. Purdue looked like they had quit back then. So Michigan State over Purdue. I've got at the 6th spot, Ohio State over Indiana. I'm not as confident in this game as well, it indicates there, Ohio State should beat Indiana. They absolutely should. Even without Seth McLaughlin, they should handle them fairly easily. But I'm still, again, this is what I've said the last few weeks. I'm done doubting Indiana, and that's reflected here in giving it a few less confidence points in Ohio State over Indiana. 5, I've got Rutgers over Illinois. To me, this line doesn't make sense to me. Illinois is back ranked again. They've put together a solid season, but then they're on the road and they're only favored by 1 against a Rutgers squad that, they looked good last week, but really inconsistent at best. So I've got Rutgers over Illinois. And then Iowa over Maryland at the 4 slot. I still think Iowa physically can probably impose their will on Maryland, but I believe it was Michigan State. Iowa was favored by 5.5 to 6. UCLA, Iowa was favored by 5.5 to 6. And now on the road at Maryland, just like those other 2 games, Iowa favored by 5.5 to 6. And we know what the results of the other 2 games were. This Iowa team is just wildly inconsistent. I think, though, after a bye week, they should be able to put something together. 3, I've got Nebraska over Wisconsin. Nebraska can finally go bowling again. 2, Michigan over Northwestern. Yeah, it's senior day. I just don't trust Michigan. I really don't. That's all. Not that I trust Northwestern that much. I just don't trust Michigan at all. And my 1 slot is USC over UCLA. I could see that going several different directions, that game. And then my overall read on the Indiana-Ohio State game, if nothing else, it's just kind of bucking conventional wisdom. You think of the flashy point totals that both of these teams have been able to put up over the course of the season, and you think, hey, put that together on the same field, you're going to have a lot of points. Well, I don't think so. Ohio State has a really good defense. You saw what Indiana was able or not able to do against a decent defense in Michigan a few weeks ago, and they scuffled. Well, Ohio State is without their starting center, and that entire offensive line has been beleaguered all season. So I really think, as you said yesterday, this could be a rock fight. So I'm going under the total there of 51.5 points.
All right, great stuff, my friend. We'll see if you're able to gain some ground this week based on my lack of confidence in a couple of those picks with later breaking news. I think you might. All right, I hope not, but I think you might. All right, that'll do it here on the channel for another week of action here. Don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, share, 5-star review, etc., etc. You know what to do. 1, 2, you know what to do. For Aaron McIntyre, I'm Steve Dace. We'll see you right here next week, right here on the channel.